Well, if you're going to be wondering, I'm also going to have Ravi talk, but Ravi is going to be playing a very instrumental role today in engaging Pamela in a very insightful conversation about the book. So before that happens, I'm just going to take the liberty to firstly invite Mr. Arik Sharma on stage because he's going to also be joining us to unwrap the copy of the book. So along with Madhuri, Mr. Ravi Subramaniam, Mr. Arik Sharma from Jeko Books, and of course Pamela Sinha Mathur, the author of the book. Each of you all have a wrapped copy in front of you. If you can officially just launch it for all of us right here, we can move on into a discussion that Ravi is going to be initiating. So, ladies and gentlemen, an encouraging round of applause for first-time writer Pamela Sinha Mathur of Love and Lovers. That's a book published by Jeko Publishing House. Well, like I said, I'm now going to just hand it over to Ravi. He's going to do all the talking. He's going to take it from here, and it's going to be a very flexible, a very free-flowing conversation between the author, the panelists, and I'm so very sure that you're going to elevate the book to a different platform. Pamela's looking a little nervous today, so you can ease yourself out. I'm sure Ravi will do that. Ravi.
Okay. Pamela, congratulations for your debut novel.
Thank you.
I think it feels great.
Absolutely.
I've been through that. Madhuri's been through that. And if going by what Madhuri says, 1/3 the turnout, 3 people had read the book, and she's such a successful author, which means 3 times the turnout. More people have read the book. Okay, you've given yourself a head start, which primarily means if you actually capitalize on that, you can be one of the most successful author in this genre in this country.
All I can do is right now thank each and everyone who have turned out today, especially Ravi, Madhuri, and every one of my family, friends, and well-wishers who have turned out today. And yes, I hope it will actually go on to be a success. Keeping my fingers crossed.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. Let me ask, today I got a very interesting BBM message, okay, and this came in this afternoon. I don't know if it's coincidence or what, but I think I'll read it out to you. It says romantic books are known to ruin relationships as they give unrealistic expectations to women about what to expect in men. Well, it goes on to say that porn does the same with men, but I will let that be. But so, what do you think about the first part of the statement?
Well, that's a difficult question. I mean, being a woman, I guess I will be a little biased towards my own gender. But I feel that in any romantic relationship, it's a joint effort, and any successful relationship will have expectations on both sides. The man will expect something from the woman will expect something, and at the end it's kind of you have to work out a common ground, and that's what even in my book I have tried to bring out, that there should be a meeting point where both can actually be on the same page and take it forward.
Okay, that's interesting. Madhuri, your views on this?
I think it raises the bar. I mean, we want somebody who's clean, turned out, has a sense of humor, is successful, intelligent, handsome. Who doesn't want that? I mean, okay, fine, we married the men that we married, but I'm sure they have some element somewhere. We're still looking. We will, and all women find the potential, and they will mold and they will mold and they will get what they want. So no, they don't raise like that level.
That's an interesting answer. Pamela, what's your inspiration behind this book? Or let me ask, who was the inspiration behind this book? Was there someone like that?
Well, I think the correct answer will be my husband. Actually, I mean, since we also had a love marriage, so of course the whole idea of love and it was always there. And in India, I think we have a very funny view about love. We have millions of love marriages, and yet at the same time, many people harbor some, I can say, misconceptions or their own opinions about love, whether it's good or bad. So, I mean, the inspiration was I started thinking about how there are occurrences happening in India all over newspapers. There's sometimes something good you read about it, sometimes you read something bad. And one of the major reasons why I had made a foreigner the protagonist of my book was also quite interesting. I used to follow a blog of one lady on Times of India, Miss Susanna Wicks. She was also she was from Scotland and she lived in Delhi. And her blogs were so interesting. Her viewpoint about India, about the customs, and all was so interesting. And I thought, why not make my protagonist also, and open the love story through her eyes? I mean, how does it look to an outsider? So that kind of gave rise to this book.
I think that was really interesting in her book is because we live in Mumbai and we're so cynical about it because there's traffic, there's rains, the infrastructure is not there. It's just continuously we're cribbing about Mumbai, and yet we have this foreigner who comes, and while it should have been more difficult for a foreigner to adapt to a city like this, she loves it. And in every blog post of hers, she's describing the warmth of the people, the wondrous explosions of love all around her. It's just incredible to actually see Mumbai in a different light. And that was an eye-opener for me as well.
Okay. How long did it take you to write this book?
It took me around 6 to 8 months, that too with my husband's continuous prodding. Come on, finish another chapter. I want to read what happens next.
Was there a lot of frustration, or was that because you wanted to genuinely finish the book and give it out for publishing?
At that time, I really didn't even think about publishing. We were just wondering, okay, every day I would come, I write one chapter, and like, what should I do with these people next? I don't know what they should do and how they should actually resolve their problems. Slowly and slowly it started getting shape. Sometimes I'm like, okay, no, this is not working out. Go back to the last thing you did and take another path.
You're typically the Indian psyche, okay, and it's a very male chauvinistic one, right? There are many women sitting in the front row and they're at the back would agree with me. When a man comes back home from work, takes a laptop, sits on his laptop, starts typing, it's acceptable. But when a woman comes back from office and she takes a laptop, starts doing something, it's something which is, which irritates the man of the house often. And people will not agree to it, people will not accept it, but that's what happens. And in such an environment, actually being able to sit down and complete a 200-page book, I think deserves a huge round of applause. Don't you think so?
Thank you.
I think this is one of the reasons why my personal respect for women authors is significantly higher than the respect I have for men. For men, it's a lot more easier to write than it is for women.